It's time for a Humans in Tune conversation with Darren on 93.9 Mike FM.
Hey, friends and neighbors, it is time for a Humans in Tune conversation. Darren here with you on 93.9 Mike FM. The circus is coming to town. We are excited to welcome Carden International Circus. They're going to be at the A.C. Brazzi Arena building here in Cape, hanging out on the grandstands right there in Arena Park. It's going to be an awesome day. It's happening Wednesday, May 19th, a double feature, double header, 4:30 show and a 7:30 show. We're excited about it. Matter of fact, right now, I'll give you a pro tip. If you head to our website, 939mikefm.com, you can enter to win a pair of tickets, actually a family 4-pack of tickets to the circus. But before we get into all the free goodies and the amazingness of it, I want to welcome to the studio Israel Alvarado. Israel comes from Carden Circus and is a lifer, you could say, in the circus industry. But, man, Israel, it is so good to have you here with me today. Thank you for jumping in.
Hey, happy to be here, guys. I like every time that we can share stories and so that people know a little bit more what's involved behind the scenes, behind all the magic. And
that's it. Because when we attend the circus and we see, the acrobats and the animals and everything seems to flow so fluidly and everything. And that's a beautiful thing. And that's because of the amount of work you guys put into every single show and in between shows, all the training and everything that goes on. And you've been a part of this pretty much your whole life. So it's wonderful to have you here. Again, it's Wednesday, May 29th is the day you're coming to Cape. We're excited to have you again in Cape Girardeau. Last year was a great show. We're excited to see it even bigger and better this year. Tickets are on sale right now at spectacularcircus.com. You can find the link on our website as well. And one of the cool things you guys do, and I can remember even when I was a kid, when the circus would come to town, you get the little paper tickets for a free kids ticket, right? And then you go to mom and dad and go, look, they gave me a free ticket to school. We have to go to the circus. And that's a great way to get those parents to say, okay, sounds good. We don't have to pay for you. I'm down. That still sticks around. And
that's absolutely.
Yeah. And it's digitally available on your website. They can print the ticket right there to get that kid's entry.
Yeah, that's the only thing that has changed from the past when you were a kid, that now you can print it out on your house.
Yeah.
You can just go on your computer and print them. And the cool thing is that normally that's the thing, the kids will get excited. And what's funny is that at the end of the show, sometimes the parents have more fun than the kids.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's one of the great things of the circus, I've been in my circus, like you said, all my life. I was born in the circus down in Mexico. And my family has been, I'm a third generation circus. And growing up in the circus, it's a completely different point of view, because I have done from being a performer. I used to be a performer. I used to be a trapeze artist. And also I've been behind the scenes for the last 30 years with Carden Circus. So I have a completely different view on, what it is to be in the ring and what it is to be outside the ring. And one of the things that it gets me the most is exactly that the kid is the one excited to come to the circus, and the parents are the happiest leaving the circus because they normally have more fun than the kids.
I think the circus is a great equalizer, right? We all revert to our childhood, and get that wide-eyed appreciation for what's going on and the wonder and the amazement. Because the circus is, it's such a different, it's a bouquet of awesome stuff. I mean, different talents that are going on. Everybody's skill set is so unique to what they do that you don't, it's, you go to a concert, and I am, as a musician, come to all the concerts, right? But you're going to hear musicians. You know what you're going to see. You go to the circus, you might see somebody with flames. You might see a motorcycle upside down. You might see trapeze. It's this amazing cornucopia of talent.
The circus, and I'm very proud to say this, is one of the very few American traditions left right now that's still alive. And the circus is one of those things that even with the new technology, like you said, you're a musician, and you can remember when you just sit down with a guitar in front of the audience, and now you are a guitar and 20,000 lights and speakers and all the stuff. The circus has been modified by technology, but the essence haven't changed. You still have live performers with very skill and with a lot of practice behind them that is still practice, but it's more human talent. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's what the tradition of the circus is all about. You know what I mean? They depend on their bodies, they depend on their skills, they depend on everything, and making people laugh, like and excitement, and keeping on their seats is the hardest part as entertainer to accomplish. And I'm so proud to say that the circus is still doing that. And it's one of the biggest traditions in this country, because it's all family oriented. And like I said, they always have fun equally, and it's
And you're
great.
right. And in this generation and in this world we live in now with that digital, instant gratification, I get my funny right now and I'm moving on, to be able to capture and hold that attention and have them leave everything else behind and just engage with the circus in that moment. Man, you guys have that magic and it's so cool to see.
Yeah, it's very for me it's very rewarding when I see big crowd in the beginning and the same crowd at the end. That means the people was entertained. That means everybody stayed to the end.
Mm-hmm.
That means everybody's enjoying it completely from beginning to the end. And sometimes they want more, and that's very rewarding as a part of the behind the scenes part, because that means we're doing our job.
Right.
Which our job is for the performers to have everything they need to do a great job, and for the audience to enjoy that great job.
Mm-hmm.
So when everything works together at the end of the show, everybody's laughing and happy and smile, I feel very accomplished. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, that is right. The reward for the work that each of you put in, whether you're behind the scenes or you're, up there on the trapeze, the reaction and the engagement you get from your performance, that's your reward. And, it's nice to get paid too, but, now, and you, as you said, you're a third generation in the circus family and you started as, with your family in Mexico. And I think that's an important point with Carden, is that it is Carden International Circus. I mean, you're not just, you've got people from all over the world performing with this circus, bringing those talents to the stage and to the ring.
We got people from all over the world, not only on the ring, but also behind the scenes too. A lot of my workers, the ones that we set up the circus and take it down, they're from different countries also.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not limited only international on the ring, we're also international behind the scenes and outside what it is, the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before and after the show.
And you may, and this just may be my observation as an American, but, when I think of historic circus and when you would see the trapeze families, I mean, these were very much families, multi-generational, trained up in it, whether they came from, Yugoslavia or from Mexico or wherever, or they were from the Czech Republic. That's a family thing. It's an old world style of athleticism and talent and skill set that, goes back countless generations for some of those families. So I think that's a huge part of it too, is that it brings that, that international aspect to the show. This originally, performed in France, and now we've brought it to the Carden Circus and those kind of things. So, now when you started with Carden, as your job now, you're managing stage production, putting the literal nuts and bolts together for this thing. How long does it take to set up for a one-day show? You show up in Cape and you got to be ready to roll at 4:30 with the crowd. How many, what's your manpower, what's your hours like to put it all together?
Well, the difference, every day is different for us.
Mm-hmm.
Every venue is different. Every situation is different, but we normally, I like to keep it under 3-4 hours for the setup, because if not, that means we're in trouble.
Gotcha. That's your pace, right?
But we try to, we have a system, and this is like a factory. This is another thing. We move like a factory. It has to be a beginning, and it has to be in order so we can all 100 people jump in and get things done.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta have an order and system, and we like to keep it around 4 hours for setup. There's the hardest part of this is that it's a live show.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we have to give the performers the time to set up their rigging and apparatus, and also to be safe so they can perform according to that. So that's what the more time consuming is. Make sure that everything is safe and ready to go.
Yeah.
Up in the air, down on the ground. The ground needs to be smooth surface. They cannot be rocks or anything rough, because of course the performers are going to be tumbling, or they're going to be jumping, or they're going to be dancing like girls, So we have to start from the ground up, literally, because we need to make sure that the ground is smooth enough and safe for the performers. And then for the aerialists, make sure that everything is safe and up and steady for the rigging. But from the beginning to end, in Cape Girardeau, would take about 4 hours,
Yeah.
a regular setup.
That's it. And you're right. You've got a playbook. You know what, it's a body. The parts have to come together to make it work and be able to run. So, and then of course you break
now,
down, you get on the road and on to the next town, right? So it's a fast and furious lifestyle.
Now to be honest and to be so people can understand, the 4 hours on setup is not only setting up the circus. We have about 100 to 110 people working between setting up the production part, which is the show, and also we have our merchandise department, which has set up all the cotton candy and snow cones and popcorn, all the stuff that people like to eat when they see the show. Plus, we have all the animal department that take care of the animals, and they're a big part because they need to be parked. They need to be set up. They need to have their water and the feed and all the shade and all the stuff that they need to be set up. So during those 4 or 5 hours, it's not only setting up the circus, it's setting up everything else. You know what I mean? So like I said, we're over 100 people working together. A lot of moving in those parts. 4 hours. There's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah. And I would imagine, this version of the circus, this season of the circus, it's an extreme spectacular circus. So I'm sure that there is, even above and beyond those safety concerns, for those things like the guys on the bikes. And you guys have a lot of action come into the circus. We love the traditional stuff, but if you're like, I've got a 15-year-old daughter and a 12-year-old son, and if they're not mentally chasing squirrels, you got to keep them engaged, right? So you bring that in, and you've got that whole high energy vibe going. It definitely keeps them grabbed. So to that end, how does some of that extreme stuff work for you guys?
Well, again, we change the show every year. We have a different show every year, so every year comes with different difficulties, different challenges, different ways and systems to be applied for safety. That's our number one goal: safety.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We want to make sure that everybody have fun, but also safe. And the performers is exactly the same thing. We want them to do their job and have fun doing it, but we want to make sure they're safe. And yes, this year we have the extreme theme, and that involves motorcycles, BMX riders. We have a variety of jumpers that they do the BMX somersaults and stuff like that, and landing on an airbag. And
they get you out there on a bike yet? Try some backflips.
You know what? They want me to, but I never have time. For some reason, they call me.
I understand.
To do it.
Yeah.
I want them to feel good.
Yeah, that's right. You don't want to beat their ego up. Yeah.
Exactly. And then we have the motorcycles on the sphere. Those are the one more challenging because on the BMX they got they have to run. They have a runway and they do their somersaults and stuff. But the motorcycles on the sphere is different because there's nowhere to run.
Right.
And you have 5 motorcycles inside at the same time going 50, 60 miles an hour. So the challenge there is 100% on their skill.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean? We're going to make sure that it's well lit up, make sure that it's steady and stuff. But after all those points are met, it's 100% skill of the rider. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, and it's very extreme, it's very fast. And, my hats to them because they do a great.
Oh, that's an elite level of just putting everything you scared of away and getting into it. Those guys, mad respect for that.
Yeah, no, they are in a completely different level of their own. So.
Now, you were a trapeze artist for a number of years, so I'm sure you're partial to that. But do you have a favorite element of the circus that you really see a lot of pride in, or something that you're like, oh, that's a real shining star for us? I'm so glad we do that kind of thing.
When you're a performer, you get to admire because you know what it is and what it takes.
You understand the work ethic and everything to get there. Yeah.
The trapeze was my favorite. We all have, it's like sports, sometimes they like football. Some of them like baseball. Your father can be a great baseball fan, but you end up playing soccer.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's exactly the same thing in the circus.
Yeah. Okay.
I love the trapeze. I love the trapeze because I love the height. I love the adrenaline of flying high and do somersaults in the air. I love that part. And the circus is a very traditional for families, like you mentioned at the beginning. We follow traditions as a family. And as a family, when you're growing up, your parents, or in this case, my parents, they teach us more than one discipline. We call discipline to the different acts. So when I was a kid growing up, I tried the trapeze, I tried hand balancing, I tried juggling, I tried unicycles, I tried completely different, disciplines on the circus. But the one that I liked was the trapeze.
Right.
I told my father one day, I said, you know what? I know the juggling is on the ground, but I can't do the juggling.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, no,
Keep me in the air.
yeah. Well,
You know
and
what
it
I
makes
mean?
sense that, in the same way with my kids, try track, try softball, try volleyball, and then find out where your passion lies and pursue that. And that's wonderful that your parents, that's exactly what they wanted you to do is, here's the buffet, find your favorite food and let's get after it. And as I
Yeah.
understand, your
So now
wife was also trapeze as well, yes?
yeah, she was a trapeze artist. And where I was going with this is to answer your question about what motivates me the most or what do I admire the most. Normally, I would say the trapeze, but when you're retired, like
Mm-hmm.
I am, I get to enjoy every single act. I get to enjoy the whole show, the jugglers, the trapeze, the clowns. For me, the clowns, they deserve all my respect because
Mm.
it's pretty hard
That
making
is a
people
hard
laugh.
job.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
You kind of
That's a
beat,
really hard.
like the other
And,
guys were worried about safety. These guys are like, well, I still got to beat myself up. I just got to beat myself up the right way. Right. So it's a
yeah, no,
thrill.
it's a talent. It's a talent. My grandfather used to be a clown,
Mm.
and so I saw firsthand what it is, and he was a very dedicated person to his job. So I say, well, clowning is not the same as a trapeze. You don't uh, uh, risk your life, but no, you risk your career if you're not a good clown. You
That's
know what I
right.
mean? On the trapeze, you can risk your life, but if you're not a good clown, then you're risking your whole
Nobody
career.
likes an
You know what I
unfunny
mean? So
clown. No.
trust me, exactly. So it's a lot harder to make
Mm.
people laugh than my personal opinion.
Yeah.
To be honest, So honestly, at this time, I admire everybody that steps on the ring because I know what it takes to be
Hmm.
in the ring, and I know the hours and hours of practice and stuff. So I just enjoy the show.
Hmm.
I enjoy every person that goes in. I like to watch the show. I have seen thousands and thousands of shows, and I'm still there every day watching the show, and I still enjoy it like if it's my first time, and I work with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I admire everybody that steps a foot on the ring because it's just a great thing that what they do.
And I think that's an overarching testament to the life of the circus, the longevity and the entertainment value is that you've been entrenched in this literally your whole life. You've been in the circus, behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, up there, down here, the whole 9 yards. And still you've got that love for it, just like you're an 8-year-old kid showing up for the first time, and to be able to step outside of your role and see it from that angle again and still feel that passion for it and that appreciation for the entertainment. That's awesome. I mean, I think we'd all strive to be in a spot where we're like, yeah, man, I work 89 hours a week and I absolutely love every single bit of it. And I'm not burned out at all. That's incredible. And I think, again, that's a testament to the level of professionalism you guys have and the level of entertainment we're going to get here in just a couple of weeks. What is the 9th today? So 20 days out from the show. So I'm excited about it. Again, you guys were here last year. It's a whole new different mix. So if you guys came last year, make sure you come back out this year. And the beauty of the circus, again, a lot of times you think, oh, well, my kids aren't little kids. They're not. Boy, I'm telling you, I'll be 50 next Tuesday. I'm excited for the freaking circus. My kid, 12, he's excited for the circus. I might even talk the old man into it. He's just turned 78. He'll be excited for the circus. And two, a little bit about the animals. I want to touch on that because we're a rural area, right? Like my family raises beef cattle. Obviously, domestic animals are a bit different than the animals you guys work with. But and then I know there's some things on the website we talk about, the care of the animals and the level of respect you've got for the trainers and so forth. But that's a lot of work because, like you said, and especially when you're summer touring, you're going from a 95-degree day with 80% humidity, and the next show you might be 75 and 10%. So that's an adjustment for the animals and the trainers. That's just a huge amount of work.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And with the animals, it's not only a job, but it's also a tradition.
Mm.
The way the animals are treated in the circus is just a completely different level. It's very personal. It's a very personal level. These people that draw, honestly, and this is I tell you from the honest truth, it's commendable. It's commendable because they spend 24 hours with those animals. They sleep with them, they feed them, they bathe them, they take care of them.
It's
Believe it or
family.
not, they do their nails, they do their hair, they
Yep.
oil them. They trust me, the level of care of the animals here in the circus with us is a completely. I don't think there's a level that I can describe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, other than a circus, than a movie star.
Right.
You know, because they literally bathe them, they do their nails, they take care of them, their skin looks a little dry, they oil them, they brush their hair, they if the hair's too thick and we're hot, they shave their hair they be cooler, they have fan, they got food all day long, water all day long, you know. They have heaters if it gets cold, they got fans if it gets hot, you know. They're always on shade, they're always supervised. There's a person dedicated 24 hours to be with them, plus other amount of people just taking care of them during the day, you know. So it is like I said, I don't think there's a level to describe the way they care for the animals.
Yeah. And that's just something to remember, you know, you guys, as you watch the circus, they come out with the animals and, you know, just the amount of passion and intensity that goes into taking care of those animals and to train them all the time to do the amazing things that they're going to show you. Yeah.
And you know that you mentioned you're from a farmer family. We have so many farmers actually come and ask us, hey, what do you guys do to your horses that they look so shiny and so bright?
Right.
What do you feed them? Or sometimes we order hay, and the people that bring us the hay, I'm like, oh, no wonder why you are so, because we're very exclusive on what they eat.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah, you
and
have
when
to
we
be.
can find what we want, you know, we got people, you know, in the town sometimes the whole time looking for this type of hay that we need or grain. You know, oh, now we know why you're so exclusive or so demanding on what they eat, you know, because these animals look great. It doesn't matter if it's a horse or an elephant or the llamas or the camels, you know. And for the same reason, and when a farmer comes to us and appreciate what we do, you know, that's because that's people that knows about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So their comments are really great appreciated for us. So that means we're doing a good job.
Yep. Well, we love our animals too, and to see the level of respect you guys have for them, I mean, yeah, we can definitely identify with that.
It takes an animal person to appreciate an animal work. You know what I mean? That's what I always say.
True. That's true. But you know, even if you're just a domestic cat guy, you know, and you just take good care of your pets, even just your domestic pets, man, you can understand it. But as a guy, you know, and I've shown cattle and stuff, and the amount of time we cut the hair and get them all ready for show prep, you know, we do that twice a year for a couple animals, and you guys are doing that every show, every day. You know, that's week, crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Now as we mentioned, you're a third generation circus man, and is there a fourth generation Alvarado that's involved in the circus as well?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. My kids also were grown up in the circus, and they learned to be an aerialist.
Mm-hmm.
So they are involved right now. They are on a break because after the pandemic hit, you know, the circus stopped.
Yeah.
And I have always been on the mentality that if, you know, life doesn't stop no matter what. So when the pandemic hit and the circus stopped, they went back to school and they start, you know, doing like a regular town job. I got myself a job in town, and we all did that. So when the circus opened back up, we were not certain exactly what was going to happen.
Sure.
So I told my kids, I said, you guys have a choice. I mean, you guys can come back with me in the circus, or you can stay and finish what you were doing right now. So right now they choose to stay and finish what they were doing. But, you know, the circus are always, you know, that's one of the beautiful things when it's a family tradition. The circus doors are always open. The same thing happened to me. My father retired for a few years. I went to school in Mexico. I was not on the circus at all for like 10 years. And then for one reason or another, my father decided to retire, come back to the circus. And we came back to the circus, and I started being a performer. So my kids are having that option right now, but they are definitely a generation that they will follow the circus steps. And one way or another,
you know, and they keep up with their athleticism and their training.
Oh, absolutely,
you know? Absolutely, yeah, that's
awesome. Yeah, absolutely, because in the circus, you know, the same way a doctor depends on their skills and school and stuff, just like any other athlete, we depends on our bodies. That's why I'm retired now.
Yeah,
you know, So if you don't keep up with that training, it's hard to come back. So yeah, they do go to the gym. They do still train because they want to have, you know, another shot.
Well, like you said, those doors are open. And as a guy who radio was one of my first careers. I didn't come back into it until about 5 years ago, and did a whole lot of other stuff in between. But you know, once you're able to settle back into what you truly loved, it's such a good feeling. So that's great.
Absolutely,
that opportunity.
And I want to give them that option because I had that option. I had that option for my parents to either come back to the circus or stay in school. And the circus is hard to get away from.
Yeah.
And I gave my kids the same thing, but I know how passionate they are about the circus. So they are really passionate about the circus, and I know that sooner or later they're gonna want to give it another shot. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So the doors are always open for them. But definitely they are considered a generation for circus.
That's awesome. Well, the Carden International Circus is coming to the AC Brazzi Arena building. Going to be hanging out on the grandstands, watching the big show on May 29th. It is a Wednesday. There's a 4:30 show and a 7:30 show. Tickets are available online right now. You can go to 939mikefm.com and click that link to grab your tickets. Kids get in free when you get an adult ticket. Bring in the kiddo for free. Get all the details right there on our website and sign up to win some tickets because we're going to give away a 4-pack of tickets. And we'll announce that on the 27th. So go get entered now at 939mikefm.com. My guest today has been Israel Alvarado. Sir, thank you so much for all the time you've given me today.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me. And we want to make sure that everybody knows if you came by the circus last year, come back this year because we have a completely different show. It's full of excitement. You're going to enjoy it.
All right, well, this has been another Humans in Tune segment here on 93.9 Mike FM. And if in case you're catching it on the podcast, you can always go back.
And make it last year. We forgive you.
Yeah, I had a little glitch on the computer there for just a second, so it kind of freaked out on me. But thanks again to my guest, Israel Alvarado with Carden International Circus. It's going to be a lot of fun, May 29th in Cape. That's another Humans in Tune segment. Thanks for jumping in with me. We'll do another one again soon. Remember, you can keep tabs on all the Humans in Tune on our Facebook page. Click that video tab to watch anything we've done, or catch our podcast wherever you listen to your podcast, or at 939mikefm.com.
Thanks for catching this Humans in Tune conversation with 93.9 Mike FM. Find previous interviews on our Facebook page, or you can listen via our podcast at 939mikefm.com.